In this short video training, we're going to be focusing on engaging faculty discussion interactions, how to plan for and produce them. The content of this video will focus on asynchronous discussion board interactions. We're going to begin by talking about the expectations for faculty in terms of the involvement with students in those asynchronous discussion boards. We're going to compare and contrast meeting expectations versus exceeding expectations. After that, we're going to talk about best practices for engaging students in asynchronous discussions. And then lastly, but certainly not least, we're going to be reviewing an example of planning and producing content for those faculty interactions in the asynchronous discussion boards, a proactive approach. In terms of the expectations for faculty within those asynchronous discussion boards, meeting expectations means that you post at least every 48 hours after the first student response. Posts should be substantive in nature and related to course content. Exceeding expectations means that you reply to more than 50% of students per week, encourage critical thinking, and provide real-world professional experiences. Best practices for engaging students in asynchronous discussions includes creating an inclusive online discussion environment that is bias-free in order to promote respect and consideration. You post responses in due time so as to give students time to respond. You post every 48 hours, 3 times per week after the first student has responded, and this is the minimum expected. You keep discussions constructive and positive. You ask students follow-up questions that promote critical thinking and challenge others' ideas for everyone to ponder. You share relevant personal experiences that help to contribute to student understanding. You reply to more than 50% of students per week. You respond to students individually each week as part of an ongoing topic discussion. You share further reading resources and personal experiences, and you encourage students to ask each other questions as a way to give participants additional opportunities to post more responses. Now, I know, as a faculty member myself, that these best practices sound amazing, and they are. However, they can seem really overwhelming, and a way to help yourself relieve some of that stress and to also produce some really effective and exciting ways to engage students in those asynchronous discussions while following these best practices is a proactive approach. So we're going to talk about one way to plan and produce content, and you're going to do so by generating a reusable list of questions, personal experiences, and resources that align with the discussion question for the week prior to the start of the week, essentially prior to students starting to post those initial responses to the discussion questions in the asynchronous discussion boards. We're going to take a look at an example discussion question, and this is from week 2 of LDR 500. So the first step in doing this is to create a Google Doc and to copy and paste the discussion question from the syllabus to the Google Doc. I'm going to go ahead and read through this, and then we're going to take a look at what you're going to do next. So the discussion question for week 2 in LDR 500 is a leader's values and emotional intelligence, and this aligns with the third course learning outcome for this course. There's 3 steps here, as we can see. First, for this DQ, you need to pair up with a classmate, meet on Zoom, and record the meeting to discuss, for example, the importance of being nimble in all aspects of a firm's operation. That is, to be in a position to be maximally flexible, adaptable, and speedy in response to change. The 2 discussion questions that the students have to answer together is how might a leader's values increase or decrease their effectiveness as they approach their role? And then the second one is how might a leader's emotional intelligence increase or decrease their effectiveness in a leadership role? After the students meet, you will both write your conclusions to these questions in the discussion forum. They have to provide the name of their partner and a link to the recorded Zoom meeting. And then each person should post at least 2 replies to other groups outside of their own group. And then, of course, we have the linked rubric here. So now that we've reviewed the example, we want to take a look at what you're going to be producing in this Google document in alignment with the discussion question and the best practices. So I've broken this down into 3 different areas where you are going to create content. The first is questions. You want to take a look at the discussion question example again and write questions based on the student's experiences meeting and producing the answers to the discussion questions. You could ask the student what their main takeaways were from it. What were the benefits? What were some areas of opportunity? How can they replicate discussing leadership in their own workplace? And then you can also write questions that expand on each of those 2 discussion questions that we looked at in the discussion prompt. Second, you can list out personal experiences that you have or that you know of people close to you or colleagues or former colleagues related to effectiveness in a leadership role. This could also be leadership in your personal life, at your place of worship, at a place where you volunteer, at your children's school. It really runs the gamut. You can also list personal experiences involving emotional intelligence and effective leadership. And third, you can pull from resources. Learn is a great resource for you as an instructor to use and to model using peer-reviewed sources. So what you can do is you can research, find, and link sources in Learn that address effectiveness and leadership. And of course, you're going to include this in APA formatting in your Google Doc. And secondly, in terms of research, you can research, find, and link sources in Learn that address emotional intelligence and effective leadership. So if you were to find 3 to 5 sources, list out 3 to 5 personal experiences, write 5 to 7 questions, and you've done this before the week has started, way before students have started generating content. What you can do is you can copy and paste some of this content into posts that you personalize for students, and you've already got it created, and it's easy to go in a few days a week and just pop this pre-created content in and really do yourself and your students justice. And lastly, but super important, is to reuse and revise what you created. It's important to hold on to this for the next time you teach the same course or similar course, and you can add more questions. You can revise questions that didn't work the first time you use them, because you have to try. You can find new sources if those links no longer are working or if the research is outdated. Thank you for watching.